What is up, friends? It's Joelle and welcome to another Eating Like K-pop Stars challenge. If you followed my short career at BuzzFeed, you have seen me already eat like BTS, but you haven't seen me eat like BTS In The Soop. If you've never heard of In The Soop, that's okay. It's BTS's reality show where they take the band and go into the woods for a few days for a paid vacation that Big Hit makes content out of. And it is the most wholesome, perfect quarantine show because the guys are literally just vibing by themselves, having some me time, playing with their dog, and of course eating a lot of good food. So I decided to take on the challenge of recreating some of BTS's In The Soop foods for 72 hours. I am so excited for this because BTS made some delicious looking dishes while they were in the forest, so let's get started. It's nighttime, we just got to where we're staying, and what did BTS do right when they got to the soup? Obviously, they made some ramen. I think they had Jajang ramen. So that's what we're having for our first meal of this challenge. I'm sticking my phone on it as a weight. Ooh, that is a lot of... I've never had these bowls of tteokbokki, I don't think. I definitely prefer it made in the pot where you can drain the water. You need too much water to cook the noodles.
Honestly, those shin bowls of like actual like regular shin ramen.
Oh yeah.
Was the best.
Yeah. Good morning, friends, and today for breakfast we're starting off with a Jungkook breakfast. Honestly, seeing Jungkook wake up early to take his dog Bam out every morning was the most wholesome thing. I also very much enjoyed seeing the BTS members get creative with their creations, and honestly, seeing Jungkook make this breakfast convinced me that he's on TikTok, because this was a classic like 2020 cooking hack on TikTok of making a breakfast sandwich all in the stove with some scrambled eggs and cheese, and he used ketchup. I unfortunately don't have ketchup right now, and I'm just using one piece of toast instead of two because can't eat that much. But you just scramble your eggs in the pan and stick your toast into the scrambled eggs and fold the eggs on top. And if you're making a sandwich with 2 pieces of bread like Jungkook, you would fold your eggs into the sandwich all in the same pan. Mine's just an open face version, but it's an extremely convenient hack, and honestly looked really, really good when Jungkook ate it. While this isn't the most aesthetic breakfast, I will say, honestly, it was extremely convenient. It has my protein, it has some cheese, everything I need. Since I don't have ketchup like Jungkook had, I realized I do have some mustard, and this could be a horrible decision that I'm making right now. Honestly, you can't go wrong. It's literally bread with eggs and cheese, but the process of making it was very fun. Okay. For lunch, I love that BTS just makes so many instant foods while in the soup, because that is every, I feel like, young Korean American life of trying to cook for yourself is just reheating instant foods. So for lunch today, I am making some Jajang tteokbokki, which is tteokbokki stir-fried rice cakes, but in jajangmyeon black bean sauce, which looked so good. I'm gonna make that, and kimari, which is deep fried, kind of battered kimbap, which is rice wrapped with seaweed. I hope I'm doing a good job of explaining that. They made it all together for, I think it was their first lunch or brunch, because they wake up at crazy hours in the soup, and I think it's gonna be a delicious lunch for me and my sisters.
Yeah, when you're like...
How is it? Are they cooked all the way through? I was worried that they're gonna be frozen inside.
No, they are.
Oh, it does have a little bit of a kick. I do like the crunch. Oh, hot. You feeling good, team?
I'm starting to sweat a little.
Alrighty, we're getting started on our first dinner of this video, and BTS made some delicious looking clam kalguksu, which is just knife cut noodle soup. It's one of RM's favorites that I made in my other Eating Like BTS video, but this time I'm really making it with like clams, the zucchini, carrots, and enoki mushrooms that they had, except for I actually don't have enoki mushrooms. I have something that H Mart called seafood mushrooms, and some potatoes, since I think kalguksu is really good with potato in it. Just making my kelp anchovy broth, and then we're gonna boil our clams and add all of our veggies and noodles at the very end. And BTS also talked about having clear versus thick broth. If you rinse your noodles beforehand to get all the flour off, you'll have like a clearer, more crisp, refreshing broth. But if you leave it on, the broth gets really thick and satisfying and is super, super flavorful. And that's what we're gonna do. How is it, guys?
It's good.
This is definitely one of my favorite Korean soups, I would say.
Yeah. Like ever?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Day one of eating like in the soup. Complete. Good morning, friends, or honestly, good afternoon. We've had a little bit of a late start to the day, but I'm so excited to kick off the day with a J-Hope breakfast invention. He is so creative when it comes to his morning carbs. I've recreated his J-Hope toast that he makes a bunch, and he did make in the soup, but since I've already done that on Instagram, I wanted to show y'all his other creation from In The Soop, and that is the cruffle. He takes croissant dough and sticks it in a waffle iron to just make a really delicious looking flaky morning pastry. My dog is drinking. It's so loud. He has one savory with cheese and then one sweet with fruit, and he put ice cream on his. That's a little bit much for me this morning, but I do want to have the sweet and savory combo, and it looked so good, so I'm ready to eat. I'm starting out my savory cruffle with Swiss cheese on it, and of course have to have my coffee as J-Hope would. Flaky. Ooh, it's flaky. Oh my gosh, it is really good. It's like very crispy and light, and it has some layering going on because of how you roll it before you stick it in the iron. And I put cheese inside as well and on top. Isn't it good? Quite tiny, I'll say. Probably could use, yeah, like 2 triangles of the croissant dough in one waffle iron. It was really good sweet too. She said range. So for lunch today, I'm gonna make my sisters some kimchi pajeon, which is something that Jin made for everyone when it was raining out, because apparently people say pajeon and makgeolli are perfect for rainy days because the sizzle of the frying oil sounds like raindrops, which is very poetic. It was raining like 10 minutes ago, but actually literally just stopped. But either way, I'm gonna try to make it just how Jin made it, with the pajeon mix, which you can just get at the grocery stores, plus some kimchi and green onions and sewajat. Probably saying that wrong, but it's a really simple recipe, and you just fry it up in some oil. It gets nice and crispy, and it's really good with a fried egg on top. Cheers. Our makgeolli that they had, you traditionally drink it in a bowl, but
This dessert parfait cup.
yeah. If you've never had makgeolli, it's rice. I think you'll describe it as like rice beer, kind of. You got the peach kind, so it tastes like dessert. Isn't it really good?
Basically like Calpico.
When Jin made his kimchi pajeon, you can use like a stupid amount of oil and deep fry it, and it gets really crispy and delicious, which is what Jin did because BTS likes it like that. I did that a little bit, but it's actually like gross how much oil you gotta use. I'm gonna break the yolk. Squish.
Love the fry. I think deep frying it is the way to go. If you're gonna eat something disgusting and greasy, just do it. Don't like half-ass it.
I didn't do it because I might get diarrhea if I eat too much oil. So that is in fact why I didn't do it.
I have a stomach of steel.
I had a dream that I had a shot of like alcohol and then I died.
Micah and I are gonna try to learn the Black Swan dance. Wish us luck. It felt on brand though for the week, so. I fucked it up. You can do it too. It is dinner time, and BTS had a ton of really nice cuts of meat on this trip. They had a bunch of pork bellies, so I think it was Jungkook made suyu, which is normally boiled pork belly. It's super, super tender, and you eat it with kimchi and samjang and all that sort of thing. I followed a recipe that didn't really boil, but it more steamed slash like braised the pork belly for like a full hour with onions, doenjang, garlic, apple, and bay leaf. Super, super simple, and just leave it on low heat for a really long time, and it gets super, super tender and juicy. And we're just having it with some red leaf lettuce and kimchi, and it's gonna be a full feast. Dig in, this looks so good. God, thank you for this food. Our samjang, pork belly, some kimchi, and since I braised these with garlic, we have the leftover garlic that you could literally just spread into your little lettuce wrap, and I bet it'll be amazing. Cheers. It's so good.
I think this is the most balanced meal I've eaten since we've gotten here.
You know who's also a proud sponsor of In The Soop? Cloud Beer. And I feel like beer goes so well with like fatty meats. I've never had this brand of Korean beer, but I feel like Asian beers are super, super light. It's kind of like drinking water. Hard to go wrong with just having it with food, you know? Anyways, since we're just gonna be stuffing our faces a little more, I'm gonna cut the cameras for a quick sec. Today we're going a little crazy. We're actually planning a dessert. After dinner, we are making hwachae, which is a really classic summer snack. It's just watermelon with Sprite or some more other carbonated drink, milk, which I know sounds weird, but it tastes right together, apparently. And normally another fruit cocktail. We're using canned peaches like BTS did. And I know this drink slash snack actually went viral on TikTok this past summer as a cocktail with soju, which you could always add if you want. But it's also very commonly eaten without any kind of alcohol. Like they'll give it to little kids at Korean church and that sort of thing. So it looks delicious, and to me it looks like the perfect refreshing way to end the day. Sit down, watch some trashy reality TV, and eat this snack. Let's try it.
It's drippy.
It is drippy.
She's drippy. It tastes like watermelon dunked in milk.
I can't even taste the milk. I think my horse would love this.
Let's add a little more of the Sprite situation.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it tastes kind of good. I think the carbonation really is what like makes it fun. Honestly, I love a good canned peach. Fruit and hella preservatives and syrup is pretty good. And the great part about this dessert when you're done is that when you eat all the fruit, you can pour alcohol in it and drink it like a cocktail after your underage sister is done.
Oh.
Dude, I don't know. Good morning, friend. And I'm so sad it's our last day of recreating BTS In The Soop foods, but I'm really excited for this breakfast. I believe it was Suga who made clam stew or tteokbokki for all of the members. They had this delicious seafood feast and honestly had a ton of really delicious looking shellfish that I unfortunately don't have access to, but I do have some more clams, some onions, garlic, all these really simple ingredients you probably have in your kitchen already that you can put together to make this really yummy stew. And honestly, I think that Korean soups are a great way to start the day. The broth of this soup is really simple. You just use some dried anchovies like I did before with some daikon radish, some onion, and then toss your clams in and you're good to go. I think this will be really good just with some plain white rice, and since it's a pretty gloomy day out, I think this will be the perfect way to warm up this morning. Yeah, it's nice. Not gonna lie, feeling super lazy for lunch, but it's great because Jin also made one of the easiest lunches in the soup, and that is yormu bibimbap, which I believe really just had yormu kimchi. It's like a leafy green kimchi. Unfortunately, I didn't have that one, but I do have some green onion kimchi and just regular cabbage kimchi, so I'm gonna use that. And he just mixed rice with the kimchi, some canned tuna, and some other little fun toppings and veggies, and a fried egg, and you just mix it all together. And it's a really, really delicious lunch, but very minimal effort required. Okay, this honestly starts to look a lot less yummy after you mix together, but it smells so good.
That's the way it tastes.
Oh my gosh, it is so good. This is the perfect lazy meal. Also, I feel like it's very fitting that Jin just put a ton of tuna in his bowl because we all know that he's extremely passionate when it comes to his fish. Alrighty, we've reached the last meal of our Eating Like BTS in the Soup challenge, and I'm finishing everything off with another recipe from Jin, King Chef, and that is chanjiguksu, which I think translates to banquet noodle soup, according to my boyfriend. I actually don't know if that's the direct translation, but it's a really simple noodle soup with thin somen noodles, and you have a bunch of toppings, kind of like bibimbap with sauteed veggies, normally zucchini, carrots. I like to add mushrooms, got some egg, and you use a little sauce, soy sauce, sesame oil, scallions, and sesame seeds. It's really yummy. You just have your noodle soup, and then you can kind of put whatever toppings you want on top. I think BTS, they just cooked everything together in the same pot. But Jin's tip for how to tell if your noodles are finished are to take one and throw it really hard at the wall, and if it sticks, the noodles are done. It's stuck! This is one of my favorite dishes. It's literally just a simple noodle soup with anchovy broth, and I am so excited to eat. Lovely.
Most vegetables are.
Yeah, what was the favorite meal then of the past 3 days?
I think last night.
The kimchi pajeon was really good.
Oh, that we had for lunch?
I liked the pork you made yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yesterday was probably the most impressive.
Yeah.
I also really liked our first clam soup. The clam
The
noodle.
kalguksu?
Yeah.
Yay! I think my favorite was also the kalguksu.